I'll try it again because I've just done the rookie mistake of having myself on mute. Hello, everyone. I am Andy. I'm here for Wrestling Royalty and Gimme a Hull, yeah. And I hope you're having a great start to your weekend. Thank you very much for joining me on this tonight's Friday night feature, where we'll be discussing Paul Heyman and the recent goings on. Will he become MVP of WrestleMania 41? What I mean by that is he going to steal the show? Is everyone going to be left talking about the Wiseman, the mad scientist, Mr. Paul Heyman? We will be going through exactly what's going on in this particular storyline, but of course, we wouldn't be anywhere near as good a channel as we are without our moderator Mark, who is in. I'm not a big fan of the whole new countdown. I wish they'd bring the old one back, but the times they are changing. Unfortunately, we just have to put up with this nice new sort of airy-fairy new whatever it is, the music, I guess, on the countdown. But never mind. We're here to talk about Paul Heyman, and I'm going to bring someone else in who's going to help me talk about Paul Heyman. We're going to be talking about anyone who is the potential MVP of WrestleMania 41. Speaking of MVPs, Mr. Sam Smith, drinking a nice brew from his Tiger mug. Here he is. How are you doing, sir?
I'm all right. It's from the Isle of Wight Zoo, so I'm just going to put that over. All right. It's been a little while, hasn't it? So I thought I would tonight because I haven't done one for a little while. So because I've been so flipping busy all the time, I thought, let's do one tonight because I'm here
and
for once.
'Tis the season as well, right? Next weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I told you today, didn't I? Like I've got the house to myself for almost a week, so I'll make the same joke here that I made there, which is if it wasn't for having to go to the gym and walk the dog, I'd probably not even dress. Jess is away, so my wife is away from Thursday to Sunday, so it's like, and it's WrestleMania weekend, you say?
Sam in his pants watching WrestleMania.
Eating takeaways, drinking a crate of beer a day.
Yeah, where's Dan and Dean when we need them? The two, Dan likes to discuss snacks, and Dean's the same. He likes to know what he has such a massive spread together for WrestleMania, especially. So I'd love to know.
I've got plans when it comes to food for Mania. Oh my God. Like I've actually made a list of what I'm going to have as well. I'm that excited about it.
Well, I can announce at the top of the show, we will be back next week with our WrestleMania preview. And Mr. Dan Hargreaves will also be joining us as well. Or we will be joining Mr. Dan Hargreaves, whichever way you want to do it. We shall be here ready to talk about WrestleMania 41. We'll go through the entire card next week. I think there's a little bit of a quiz that he's putting together as well. So make sure you join us next week for WrestleMania predictions, previews, quiz, all that good stuff. Sam's looking really confused. I'm pretty sure.
I was going to say there will be nipples as well. I imagine. So it's because it's a Dan stream, so there will be nipples.
Fair enough. We've got a couple of comments in. Say it. Hey, bro, have you tried doing WWEs? Funny enough, say it. I actually, on my 30th birthday, was treated to a wrestling. I went to like a wrestling school for a day. And I had to put together a match at the end. And it's the only time I've ever broken a bone. I fractured a rib where someone did an elbow drop as I was standing up. And I just hit the canvas and it fractured my rib. It was very hard to laugh and sneeze for the next few weeks. So, don't try this at home, kids.
So hang on. So that was your 30th birthday?
Yeah.
So that's amazing. So that was back during the territories then, yeah.
Yeah, I know. So everyone was pretty pissed off at the time with Vince McMahon.
Joke's on me. I'm older than him. Joke's on me.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure Sam's older than me. So he was wrestling with the dinosaurs and the cavemen.
I was. So. Oh no, I was out with the bare knuckle boxing carnies when they were just coming up with how to work a match. Yeah, that's where I was. Getting beaten up every night.
Yeah, that's right, Mark. 9 hours altogether for each night. 9 hours a night. That doesn't sound right. I don't think that's quite 9 hours in total, maybe, but
yeah, it's only a 9 hour. Every Mania is not going to be like.
Is that what back to WrestleMania 35 when it was about 9 hours?
Nah, every one will be 3.5 hours. Mark my words, because that's just how they do it nowadays.
Mark my words. His title is on the line too. So Mark's title's on the line. He's very vociferous when it comes to that quiz title. So someone tune in and take off Mark's. I might even do it. Sam might do it.
It's never going to be me, let's be honest. Dan, those questions are so effing obscure. It's like, what colour pants was Stone Cold wearing? It was probably black or jean shorts, wasn't it? But, on the night of the something, when the wind was blowing this way. So, I don't Who knows that? So there you go.
Yeah,
Including
what was last year's in-stadium wind chill that they kept talking about at Philly?
Oh, to be fair though, well, you were there, weren't you? And so
Yeah, I would just say it's cold.
yeah, I've heard from a few people that it was ridiculous. So kind of put me off. I'm kind of that's why I'm glad the next one hopefully we'll do New Orleans. So it'll be nice and warm and inside. Is it inside that one? I can't remember.
Yeah, it's under a roof. Yeah, same as this one. Same as this one. So, WrestleMania 41, as Sam says, is going to take place in Las Vegas, Sin City. It is going to take place next weekend. So, it's was that the 19th and 20th?
Yes.
19th and 20th, yeah, of April. We've also got the Hall of Fame on. We've got a SmackDown going on. There's an NXT stand deliver very early in the morning across there if you are going in Las Vegas. Good time for us. I'll be very happy to watch stand deliver. There's only 3 matches at the moment.
Is it like 6 p.m? So, because I'm on a stream. Oh, no, that's the day before. So, yeah, basically, I think what I'm going to do on that. So I'm going to watch the pre-show and then just watch NXT live. Then probably go to bed and watch Mania the next day. Is my plan.
Well, whatever your plan is, make sure you do tune in for all the goings on next week. And the only way you can do that, and make sure you know what time we're going live, is to hit that subscribe button on Wrestling Royalty. Give me a whole yeah, and then check out all the latest goings on over on WrestleSphere and Rollercoaster of Running. Rollercoaster Running is my running channel where there'll be lots of things going on. However, speaking of lots of things, Sam, what is currently going on WrestleSphere?
With my change of employment status very, very recently, which is no secret, it's given me a little bit more time to commit to WrestleSphere and Scream as well. So I think now we will see a ramping up, I think, of content, and not just more content. I'll be doing some stuff in the background with data and trends and various other things to kind of see how we can grow both sites, what we can do. But you got to remember as well, guys, it's a very complicated time for websites right now after some of the Google updates we've had. Some websites aren't surviving, some websites are. That's just a little bit of an update. Keep an eye on screen and keep it particularly on WrestleSphere if you're watching this podcast, because we are about to ramp up our content. And we've just had an interview with the Rascals from TNA go up, and yesterday an interview with Leon Slater, who's, I believe he's a mate of yours as well, Andy.
I think mate might be taking a bit far, but he's
a northern boy. Is he a northern boy? Is he like in the northeast, or he spends a lot of time in north?
He does spend. Well, he's the North champion, so he spends a lot of time up here. He went to school, wrestling school with Liam Slater as well.
Yes.
So there's a lot of northern ties. I think he might be originally from a little bit further south, like Coventry or something. But yeah. He's a good lad, and it's really good to see him doing so well on the main stage of TNA.
Fun fact, Liam Slater, not Leon Slater. Liam Slater followed me on Twitter today. That was interesting. Oh my God, that's Liam Slater. Oh, yeah.
Basically, if you ever tag North and stuff, he's a very stout North follower. He's one of the sort of OGs. So if you're putting out stuff about North, then you will get a follow off of Liam. So it's definitely worth doing.
I was loving that. I thought, okay. So John, because I'm the only person on Twitter John Cena doesn't follow, by the way, everyone. Just
I'm me. Don't worry.
Oh, really? Why have we both been snubbed? What's that about, Cena?
I don't know. I've seen some of the people he follows as well, which is outrageous that we're not being followed.
So you know what I think? Because I was going to say, I think with Cena though, it's just a case of it's like knee jerk, just follow back. Apart from when you and I did it, which was probably about 10 years ago, I reckon. It was a case of
either that or his assistant just picks random people to follow.
Could be that. Look at that guy in the hat. We're not following him.
But anyway, I digress. We might talk about John Cena a little bit at the end, but today we are going to be talking about Paul Heyman. It's been a big couple of weeks in building the Night 1 main event. We've seen a little bit of build before that for the Night 2 main event, which is going to be Cody Rhodes versus John Cena, as we believe anyway. But Night 1 was 2 weeks ago during the contract signing, confirmed that we were going to get CM Punk versus Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. However, the tale has taken a little bit of a twist because Paul Heyman has become very central to this storyline, and we've seen him thrust into the middle. CM Punk, after helping out Roman Reigns' team at Survivor Series in War Games, he said he was owed a favour by the Wiseman. This is Paul Heyman. He's also his best friend that he keeps referring to as well. Until now, we haven't known what that favour is, but he did divulge in the last week where he has said that his favour that he's calling in is for Paul Heyman to be in his corner at WrestleMania as he finally realizes his lifelong dream of being in that main event match. And here we are. We saw on a little bit extra on Raw where Seth Rollins was kind of talking Paul Heyman around as to both Roman Reigns and both Roman Reigns and CM Punk are not to be trusted. They don't really care about Paul Heyman, which ended up with Seth Rollins threatening to curb stomp Paul Heyman, last minute pulling out from doing that move and then saying, "You now owe me a favor instead." So here we are. This is where our discussion begins. Sam, what have you made of the last couple of weeks? Was this the right way to go to build this particular triple threat matchup?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I'm still a little bit like meh about the whole Heyman thing because it doesn't seem like, okay, yeah, you've got Heyman in your corner. Okay, so that's going to play some psychological mind games on Roman. I don't see why Seth would care at all. Like, I remember, never interrupt your enemy while he's making a mistake. And so Seth goes and sticks his oar in and starts doing that. And it's like, what are you doing, Seth? Like, surely the smart play here is to do absolutely nothing and just let this happen. So, but I get he's got to be included, so that's why they got to do it. But I don't, no disrespect to Paul Heyman, I don't get why having him in your corner, like physically, is such a draw. It's such a big deal. Like having him backstage, working his angles and doing what he does, yeah, huge. But like, so in storyline, you know, in the case of a storyline, I don't get why that's, other than playing mind games on Roman, I don't why it's such a big get. So because if you were Roman, you'd be like, I see what you're doing, Punk. I see through it. Whatever. He's in your corner. He is. That's fine. That's what you'd do. So it's all just a bit. I think they've got to flesh it out a little bit more for me to be interested. Like, obviously, something's going to go down. It's going to mean something. Maybe there's a betrayal. Maybe something else. So it will lead to something. So I trust them that it's going to lead to something. But in terms of as a hype generator, it's not really tickled my pickle, if you know what I mean. But I'm looking forward to the match. I still think the match should be sick.
We had something similar not too long ago when Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns were almost kind of feuding over Paul Heyman. And I guess, he was inducted into the Hall of Fame last year. He is, a legend in the game and in the sense of being able to talk. We are at a stage, though, that all three men can actually hold a very good promo. It's not necessarily that he kind of has to be a mouthpiece anymore. I think you're right with the mind games thing. And maybe they need to kind of make that a bit more explicitly said, is that, I want Paul because it takes away something from you, and your ego can't handle that someone else would have, that he would pick someone else over you. And that's that kind of between CM Punk and Roman Reigns anyway. I think that was the last tie that they were missing, because we've previously spoken about that there are those ties elsewhere. And I think it was maybe just to tighten up where the link was between CM Punk and Roman Reigns. Now, they could have pulled another lever, which was, I didn't pick you, Roman, when I was putting the Shield together. Like, you weren't my first choice. That could have been the way they went down, but they decided to go through this instead. So we have this kind of, like, I guess with pulling on a bit of a struggle for power play. So, yeah, it's an interesting. I think you're right. The match will be great regardless. It's three of the biggest talents that the WWE have on their roster. Quite frankly, everything else pales in comparison, other than John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. So it is the right choice for me to go with the main event. There's a lot that it means to CM Punk. Roman Reigns I think they put a stat up which has been proven not quite correct. This will be Roman Reigns' 10th, not 11th, as they said, main event at WrestleMania, which is pretty damn impressive, really. And Seth Rollins getting another main event for all the work he's done. I'm a big fan of that. So I guess what we're going to discuss now is where do we see this going? Is there a reason why we're getting this kind of struggle over Paul Heyman? Is he going to be as key as they're making out? Or is it just a lever, as I said, to kind of establish that connection between Punk and Roman? I've got a couple of comments from Mark in there. By the way, they actually said the favour years ago, so this is a really long-term story. I don't think they started referring to it as a favour until recently. What Mark's talking about there is that Paul Heyman said to CM Punk, "I will be in your corner the day that you take your rightful position as a WrestleMania main eventer. They could do that tonight on SmackDown. So what have we got left? 2 SmackDowns and a Raw before WrestleMania. There's still a little bit. There's still a little bit of runway to land on before we get to WrestleMania for them just to tighten up a little bit. It's the same with Cody versus Cena. That's cooled off in the last week without the presence of John Cena. So we need a little bit more heating up, and Cody's going to be back on SmackDown tonight. Roman's on Raw, so there's still plenty of opportunities to be able to do it before we get there. And obviously, they can use social media, create those hype packages from there. So last one he said, also remember Roman's word, when he doesn't have his Wiseman, he won't be the tribal chief anymore. Will he not? I kind of feel like he's still got like the Ulafala, and he's still the tribal chief. He just won't really have anyone referring to him as such.
What's kissing his ass and singing his name like if that was
kind of like that they've pushed that out a little bit because it's not really relevant to this storyline. So big, not massively upset at that. So Sam, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and then Seth Rollins. Who do you see Paul Heyman ultimately kind of backing?
I think he might have done all he can with Roman. I'm not saying it has to end, or it should, or it will, but I can think if they've got to evolve, they've got to tell more storylines. It's entirely possible he betrays them both in sides of Seth, but I don't know. That would suggest kind of a heel turn on Rollins' part, and I don't know that's what they want to do in this story. I can see Roman and Seth continuing after WrestleMania, and that becoming a feud. I think Punk's winning here, and then go, because I think he sort of has to, and then goes on to do something else with someone else. Don't ask me who, but I'm kind of thinking I could see him betraying both of them for Seth, because it's a very Paul Heyman thing to do, and it would be shocking and it would be fun to watch. But I don't see how that would work with Seth. Seth doesn't really need him, but that's what I'm thinking they might do. But I can't help. Yeah, I think Roman and Seth needs to continue until SummerSlam, and go somewhere where, with Roman, eventually they need to transition to a feud with The Rock. And what they can't do, I don't think they can keep doing Seth and Punk either. I think we've seen it to death now. So that they need to move to a new story. Something else needs to go down. I'm also not convinced the Solo Sikoa story is over either. I know that we might be getting Solo versus Jacob Fatu. That might be something that goes down, and they start planting the seeds for that at Mania. But I'm this whole story, as great as it's been, I've always felt like it's got too many wrestlers in it, and it kind of should have been a one-on-one. I've always kind of had that feeling about this. So yeah, I'm curious where they're going to go from here, because I think Jey Uso's winning, and I think Cody is losing, and everybody else is kind of tied up. But this could be a Punk could go after Cena after this if Cena's got the belt, and that's heading into Backlash and beyond. That could be one hell of a cool story. So that's where I think they might go, and I don't see how Paul Heyman factors into that. Is what I'm saying.
No, it's fair enough. It's some really relevant points. And it used to be back in the day, I guess, it sounds really old when I say that, that WrestleMania was the end of all the kind of different feuds that were going on. It was the big blow off. But now it seems to be, you will get some feuds that will finish, but it's also just the start as well. So they kind of use WrestleManias to kind of
new beginning.
Yeah, they either slingshot new things and kind of new angles in, or they do eventually finish up. But this is one where I think a lot of the questions coming out of it is going to be, well, what next? So it doesn't just end here between the three of them. In some respects, I'm a little bit disappointed because I feel like Roman versus Seth is one of those rivalries that they've got it on the program called Rivalries, or they did have it last weekend, because it's probably one of the most modern day epic rivalries that we've had. There's a lot of lore behind it. And I kind of want to see the blow off to that at a WrestleMania. Is there a way that they can kind of push this through rather than at a SummerSlam all the way through till then? But it certainly feels like out of the three of them, CM Punk could kind of disappear off into his own title hunt, because, he's not going to get any younger. He's going to want to have a title before he goes again. As Mark says, will it be against Gunther, or do we see a summer of Cena where Cena does capture the title at WrestleMania, and then we kind of get that parallel universe of John Cena going off through the crowd, which I think you've said before, blowing a kiss, etc. But it feels like Cena versus Punk is the way to go, especially with the way that they've kind of he said they snaked him and kind of screwed him over in the Elimination Chamber. I don't agree, but I kind of see where he's coming from. So yeah, there's a lot of kind of questions as to where do we go from here. There's a lot of theories going on though that we might see some sort of alliance between Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins saying that he now owes him a favour. Does Paul Heyman kind of bottle it and say, I can't stand to be in the middle of you two, so I just helped out, the person just to get it over with? Or do we see a full heel turn? Because we have a lot of baby faces at the moment, I feel, in WWE, and we need a better heel. And I think Seth Rollins is probably due a good run as a heel.
I don't know.
Counter the argument.
Well, so for starters, I think they've all behaved abominably and honourably in this particular story. Like Roman attacking Punk was pure malice, pure envy. In that cage match, where Rollins behaving like a petulant child in the Royal Rumble. And Punk hasn't exactly covered himself in glory either in several instances in this story. So I don't think any of them are baby faces. And I don't think any of them are heels in this story. Officially, all three of them are faces.
Yeah.
Still being nice to the crowd. Like Roman's like, I love your singing voice to London and stuff like that. My problem with the Rollins heel turn is I feel like they're still recovering from his last heel turn, where with his Monday Night Messiah stuff, and he's kind of kept that persona as a babyface. Like he's still a massive, a bit of a knob, really, in this persona, but he's still a good guy. They did the same thing with Becky Lynch, and they did the same thing with Roman Reigns as well. Roman Reigns is not the big dog anymore. He's still the tribal chief, the head of the table gimmick. He's still that version of Roman. But he's a babyface now, and the story is he's recovering and becoming good. And I kind of think they should lean into these more grey areas with some of these characters. Like you need babyfaces, like Cody and Jay, and you need heels like Gunther and a few others.
Yeah.
But I don't think they should turn these guys. I personally think I don't know if I can stomach another Rollins heel turn. At this point, particularly, I'm still again the eye for an eye match and things like that. It's really, really hard to ever get on board with Rollins again after that terrible stipulation. Because how can you ever see him as a good guy again after he did that? So I do keep the anti-hero Rollins, but I don't know if I want him to ever turn fully face or ever turn fully heel again. And the same with Roman. I don't want Roman to ever be this shucks babyface. Again, either, and I don't think Punk ever can be because he's Punk, and some days I love him, and other days I'm like, oh, this guy, and that's just on a personal level. So no, that's why I don't want any of them to turn. I think they're good where they are, and it keeps the nuance high. Yeah, I don't need you to tell me who the bad guy is, WWE. Let me keep feeling complicated feelings because that's what's made this fire so far.
Yeah, I think they might do that for two of them. I think they will have to kind of put a little bit of jeopardy in it to some extent by turning one of them just for the benefit of whatever they do next, because I think you can get away with it for so long, but when you're not really telling the crowd who it is that you should be rooting for, they're going to come unstuck a little bit, because you then split the kind of audience reaction where you probably do want a little bit more emotion behind it. So I just think with like storytelling 101, you can only kind of keep them neutral for so long before they end up.
I don't know, because for me, the emotion comes from the struggle of who to side with. I always go back to Captain America: Civil War or Marvel Civil War, where both sides are good guys. Both sides are trying to do the right thing, what they believe is the right thing.
Yeah, it's a matter of perspective.
Yeah, but they lose themselves in the process. They They all do things they're not proud of, and then in the end of it, they sit back and they're like, "Dude, I can't." By the time they're fighting with each other, Thanos and is building his momentum in the background. So I kind of like the idea that while these three are busy fighting each other, monsters are rising from the deep. So for me, yeah, exactly.
We've got Tom in from Tom Talks Rubbish. Go check out Tom's channel, which is actually called Tom Talks Rubbish. It's a very, very, very good channel. I can't even speak.
Interviews.
I'll tell you what, the jet lag stuff is a real pain in the ass. It just keeps going. But anyway, yes, Tom interviews the interviewers that is in the wrestling industry. So make sure you go check out Tom's channel. There's loads of your absolute favourite journalists will be in there. And I tell you what, Tom will probably become one of your favourite journalists as well. So make sure you go check out his channel, give him a subscribe, and go say hi. It's always good to have him in as well. Mark's saying that if they are going to, I think this is at Seth, if they turn Seth heel, change his song, because the last thing you want is a heel's song to be able to be sung along with. So yes, I think they would do that. Mark with the breaking news is all over it. General Manager Adam Pearce has officially announced that the New Day will challenge the War Raiders at WrestleMania for the World Tag Team Championships. All right, okay.
Bit of an anticlimax.
Out of the two of the tag team championships, that's probably the one I'm a bit more surprised that they've announced first. I know there's still a chance, but the other one's probably going to be a multi-tag team match, possibly a ladder match, etc. over on SmackDown. I wonder if they'll do something with Big E.
That's what I've been thinking the whole time. I mean, that's it's like, does he come back and flatten them both? You know what I mean? Or
just cost them, I guess, in some way. It depends how physical he's actually allowed to be.
Or does he help them and they kind of get confused and stuff? Anyway, sorry, you were saying.
I like that option better, but we'll see. But the tag team championships are going to be on WrestleMania, which is cool. The other options I know I've kind of headlined this particular video with, is Paul Heyman going to be the MVP of WrestleMania 41? I've just thrown some other candidates out there, to be honest. We've got some interesting matches that are going on. We've got John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. Will one of them kind of steal the show? Will John Cena walk out as champion? Will The Rock make an appearance? Will he be the one that everyone's left talking about by whoever he helps out? We've got the recently signed on Raw just this past Monday, the Women's World Championship match is a triple threat between Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, and Bianca Belair. I think that could be a great women's match. All three very, very good in the ring. It would be interesting to see how they can kind of mesh together, and can they kind of steal the show or the weekend with one of the women's matches. Then the IC title. I think this is a bit of a sleeper hit. I don't know if you feel the same, Sam. Introducing like this kind of strange dynamic and a wrinkle into the Judgment Day of having Finn Balor, Dominic Mysterio, Penta and Bron Breakker in a fatal four-way match for the Intercontinental Championship. What are your thoughts on this one?
See, I think this is all about Judgment Day. So I love the idea of Penta winning it. Bron going on to a bigger feud elsewhere. But Finn and Dom costing each other, because we saw the tension between them that has been going on for weeks. We saw Balor have a real, like when someone says something to you and you think they're joking, but really they're not joking. They're saying it to hurt you, but they're hiding it behind the plausible deniability. We saw that happen with Balor and Dom on Raw the other day, and it was nail biting. But also Liv Morgan has been moving chess pieces against Balor for some time now. So it'd be interesting to see how that plays out. Or does she continue to side with Balor, and does she do something to Dom? Does Dom find himself out and out on his own? Basically, this at Mania, we're going to see, I think, to be fair though, we've said that about the Judgment Day several times at several different Manias. Well, although they did implode, like, was it SummerSlam they last imploded? I can't remember. But something's going down. Like Balor and Dom are going to end up smacking each other at Mania, or what is the point? Or do you know what I mean? Or something's got to happen, and I'm really excited for that. But I do think like Penta's the shiny new toy in the company, and just like they've done with Ricky Saints, or I keep calling him Ricky Starks. They put the belt on him quite quick, just to say you're in the right place. They kind of do have to do that with Penta. I think Penta winning the IC Championship at Mania is a big feel-good moment. and we're also going to get some feel bad moments this time at Mania as well. So I think that'd be a nice one to have. And he deserves it so much because he's just been consistent for years.
Penta, I tell you what, Penta winning the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania, like that would be a massive moment.
Yes, massive.
Because, yeah, I guess it's a sort of like statement for anyone who's thinking about coming across is, yeah, we'll treat you right. But at the same time is like, he's a relative newcomer, but to get like a singles belt, I don't know if I don't foresee Penta being a world champion anytime soon. I don't know if he'll ever be, because I think at some point he'll move into the tag team division with Ray Phoenix, who's just come across. But they could give a big moment here for a singles title tilt. I think Dom might win it, I think Dom's been doing such great work over the last sort of couple of years that this might be his reward, is winning the IC title at WrestleMania. And I'd love him to be a sort of Kurt Angle style, like a bit of a Weasley champion where he just seems to look into winning all these. But let's face it, if Dom wins a title, he's probably going straight into some sort of angle with Finn for a little while.
I bet my mortgage Penta's walking out of this one. It just seems like a real WrestleMania thing to do. And just having like Finn and Dom smacking each other and at each other's throats. And it comes like, because that's the thing I'm really excited by the most is that story. You know what it's like with me. I love great matches, but it's storylines hook me.
Yeah.
In WWE, I've always said that. And I think though with Dom, like holding a belt is all well and good. Like he had that NXT one for ages, and I don't ever. This is the problem. I felt like it was going to waste a little bit. I don't feel like it elevated him at all. Yeah. I don't know. Like Dom should absolutely hold the belt again at some point, but I don't think right now he needs it. I think what he needs right now more than anything is to see where this rather tantalising story goes. That's what I want to see. And let's not forget as well, another wrinkle to this story. He tried unifying, like getting back together with Rhea Ripley in the middle of the ring at one point. Liv Morgan has seen that and has been plotting her revenge, has been passive-aggressive with him ever since. That's got to blow off. That's got to go somewhere.
Yeah,
she's not forgiven that. And I want to see how that plays out. And I think this is one of the matches I'm most excited about this year. Just stick some ladders in there, WWE. That's what we want. Give the people what they want.
I think they're going in a different match, but we will discuss all these again next week. We'll go into it, and we'll have Dan's voice and views as well. The last one I was going to say is this mysterious number 4 that you can see on the bottom right here, which seems to be hinting at Aleister Black and his return. Big rumours that because of Kevin Owens' injury, they don't want to see Randy Orton off of the WrestleMania card. He very could well offer an open challenge at WrestleMania, and we could see Aleister Black return at the show of shows straight into a match with Randy Orton, which I think would be a great match to see.
Just two getting hot in here, just talking about that. Just like that. Imagine that. Like, do you remember like we had that moment a couple of Manias ago? It feels like a million years ago now, where Rollins is like, right, open challenge. Who's it going to be? I'm ready.
Yeah.
And then boom, boom, wrestling. There's more than one. What? Like we all knew it was coming. We all knew it was going to be him. It was not a surprise, but it still hit really well. And I think they could do something similar here. If they just have a moment where hits and then do you know like the thing that used to like pull him up like a coffin?
Yeah.
You know, no, really good. No, evil. You know, like if that it was to hit, and we had the rebirth of Aleister Black, just that would be a moment. That would just be brilliant. And like with the striking man from Amsterdam versus like the more methodical
technical wrestler,
Matt wrestler, which is Randy Orton. Just take my money. WWE, do it.
It would also like the statement that makes about Aleister Black coming back in terms of like you need to treat this guy seriously, because like putting him in that position, especially if he were to win, which you'd think if he's returning, there's a good chance he would. That is the way to elevate someone straight back into it, is because he's not been gone so long that people forget about him, but he's been gone long enough that people will be excited that he's returning. So all speculation, and it could well happen. As Mark says on SmackDown tonight, Nick Aldis is addressing Orton. I think he's already paid his fine last time because he paid him double for the next one. So he's already covered that off. I also quite honestly, wouldn't be mad at seeing Nick Aldis versus Randy Orton. That would be a great match.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, do you remember? Let's go back again, Andy. A couple of years, we were talking about the tension between Roman Reigns when he was the champion and Nick Aldis, and we were like, "Oh, just imagine how good this would be." And we never got it. Like, we still could get it, but we never got it. And I was like, "Oh, they screwed us over there. That's something I want to see." And they will do with Aldis as well because he's so good. The guy's a former, 3-time NWA champion, is he?
Something like that, yeah.
And TNA. But here's the thing though. Aleister Black left during the pandemic, left during the flipping Thunderdome era, in the middle of something really intriguing as well, like in terms of the story.
Yeah.
So by having him leave in that situation and then come back now, big, and look at me now. Because like he did a lot of good things in AEW, but the problem is they underutilized him as a single star. And I'd say the same thing about Penta as well. Actually, like as much as I love the Lucha Brothers, sorry, they're better solo. Both of them are better solo. I've said that 1,000 times, and I'll continue to say it. But Black, that's just the rebirth that character needs to communicate. This is the guy. Anyway, sorry.
I also wouldn't be mad about them blurring the character it used to be with that one that they were starting to introduce, where he had that sort of he was telling the story of, and he had his glasses on, sat in the seat, etc. That he was going with Big E. So if they want to blur that, I'd be absolutely down. But yeah, give me Aleister Black at WrestleMania. Hell yeah. We're going to be talking about each individual match next week, so we're going to keep this one nice and light. Next week's probably going to be a little bit more of a bumper show, so make sure you get your snacks in, not just for WrestleMania, but for the Wrestling Royalty and Give Me a Whole Yeah preview show as well. Make sure you join us next week. We'll try and get the stuff up on YouTube quicker so you can plan your night, your evening around that, because you're going to want to join us next Friday. There'll be at least 3 of us. It could be more. But we will be very excited to be chatting all things WrestleMania 41. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. You'll be one of the first to know when we're going to be going live. And that's across Wrestling Royalty. Give me a whole yeah. And go check out some features over in WrestleSphere. Some great interviews on there as well. That's whether you're a WWE, TNA, or any other, really, anything. Well, we've got North stuff coming up. There's always wrestling from the UK. We'll cover anything. So make sure you check out Wrestling Royalty. Give me a whole yeah at WrestleSphere. And if you want to do a little bit more for me, go hit that subscribe button on Roller Coaster of Running. There'll be some more Disney stuff coming, more Disney content coming of me running around Disney World at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Mad.
Floats your boat. We're gonna leave it there. But Sam, what should people do in terms of what should they check out over on WrestleSphere just one last time?
The Rascals, Leon Slater, more good stuff coming, more op-eds, I think, more features. I think we're going to be looking good with WrestleSphere. WrestleSphere is always going to be a little bit smaller than Screen and SoundSphere, but that doesn't mean it can't be great quality. We've also got some guest writers as well, people like Joe. And obviously yourself, Andy, you're part of the editorial team, so you do features for us as well. It's not just my name that pops up on there. Keep watching. Give me a whole yeah. We'll be doing some. It's Mania, so you're going to be seeing more of us. WrestleSphere as well. Go and have a look at ScreenSphere as well, SoundSphere, and obviously support Andy on Roller Coaster Running as well. Oh, and if you're a gamer as well, I forget the name of the channel because I'm tired and I've been in the pub all afternoon. But go have a little look at Ant's channel, gaming channel at the moment. It's real. There's nothing else quite like it. So I'm a big fan. So go have a little look at that.
I think you plugged everything there. I was just going, while you were filling in the gaps there, I was just going to try and make sure I get the right name of it, because I know it's Grim something, isn't it?
Shall I have a look as well, or shall we both have a look?
I
hope he knows we're putting him over. I hope he knows we're putting him over here.
Grim Sim Labs.
That's it.
He's got some great content over on Grim Sim Labs. So go check out Ant, who you see covering AEW every Wednesday night here on Give Me a Whole Yeah as well. So make sure you go support Ant in all his endeavours, both here and over there too. Anyway, I'm going to ignore that one, and we're going to go straight on and say we're going to wrap up. Thank you very much for joining us. I hope you enjoy SmackDown tonight. If you're watching wrestling anywhere in the world this weekend, have a great time. We will be back next week. WrestleMania 41 preview, quiz, all that good stuff. Make sure you come back and join myself, Sam, and Dan. And we are currently stalling for time so I can find the outro. Anyway, he's been Sam. I've been Andy. This has been Gimme Hell Yeah. This has been Wrestling Royalty. We will catch you next week.